All right, let's do it. You know what? It's still a minute early, but we're going to get started anyway. So, my name is Lucas Hine. I'm a MAPS coach with KW MAPS Coaching. I'm very excited to present this class to you with my co-presenter, Jenny Wallach. Want to introduce yourself?
Hey guys, I'm Jenny Wallach from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I've been in real estate for 25 years now. Is anyone just 25 years or younger in the room? Yeah, I love that.
Nearly everybody.
So I am just so grateful that I've had such an awesome journey through real estate, through Keller Williams. I've been with KW now since almost 20 years. And I love this company because of the cool productivity tools and tips and tricks, hacks and models and systems that allow us to be our authentic selves inside of this business while also living our best lives. And that's what today's session is all about, is taking this productivity tool called the 411, which y'all are in this room for a reason. It means you know about what it is and maybe you aren't quite using it to its potential. So hopefully we can help you tap into some ways that you can put it to work today. So thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. I, like Jenny, am very connected to this amazing productivity tool. I often call it the tool that allows you to be the most productive version of yourselves. So again, I mentioned that I'm a coach with MAPS Coaching. I have been for going on 4 years now. I have been a licensed agent for going on 10 years now. And yes, that also means that my headshot is nearly a decade old. So I am becoming the stereotype like probably a few of you. And we're going to get started by doing some of the fun stuff. Remember, everybody, all data that is shared by KW is provided as is. It's not materially represented as true fact. Please just check all your facts. Do your due diligence, okay? Second, now everybody say this with me. Obey the TCPA. Now you all say it. Obey the TCPA. Okay, and then lastly, commissions are not set by law or practice. They are all fully negotiable. Please keep that in mind. All right, without further ado, let's get into the presentation. And we want to just kick it right off with a fact. Jenny.
Okay, so have any of you guys heard of National Association of Realtors? Did you know that every year they compile all of this fantastic data that allows us to actually use that in our businesses? And I think it's so helpful with even my mindset as a reminder that the majority of people out there will likely use us. And this stat is saying that 74% of home buyers and 80% of home sellers only interview one agent before making their decision. So how do we get to be that one agent? And that's what we're going to talk about today. It means that we must be top of mind so that we get to the table or that coffee date appointment to sign a buyer agreement or to sign that listing paperwork so that we get the opportunity to help them. Does that make sense? You guys get that? Helped me with my mindset because I go, oh, I just need to be in relationship with more people that think of me first. Then I'll have a great chance of helping more families. And so put that down as just something to always go to National NAR, whatever the website is, and you can even just search for home buyer seller surveys. And it's a great tool to download and really research it. It also is helpful with your presentations too, with talking about buyers and sellers. So that's just a good tip. Go to the website, save that document.
Awesome. Now, who knows what a 411 is? Actually, rather, raise your hand if you don't know what a 411 or a GPS is. Oh, awesome. Oh, okay. We kind of had one or two hands get raised that kind of don't know what it is.
And
That's
it's okay
awesome.
Because you're in the right room.
You're in the right room.
Don't be afraid of it.
Out of all of the amazingly cool classes that are going on at 10 a.m. right now, all the AI classes, you guys are here to talk about a boring tool like the 411. And we like boring business, right?
A powerfully boring tool.
Right. So why does it feel like a chore? Well, that's because most agents are treating it like a to-do list. Is everyone familiar with the book, The One Thing, right? Okay. So they go over, I can't remember what page it is, but they go over the difference between a to-do list and a success list. The 411 is the version of the success list, right? The challenge is moving from thinking about your goals to protecting your focus. The 411 becomes not only the things that you are doing, but the things that you are saying no to gets left off of that 411, okay? Key takeaway that I want everyone to just ingrain in their brains right now is that the 411 is a tool that gets fed by other tools, okay? It's a hungry monster and it needs food, okay? One of the things that feeds it is this thing called the GPS. For all my old schoolers in the room, we used to call that a 135. Now, why is that? Because there is one goal, there are three distinct priorities, okay, that relate to that one goal. And there are up to 5 strategies beneath each specific priority on that GPS, okay? Your 411 is the weekly pulse of your GPS, ensuring that you stay laser focused on the 20% that drives your GCI.
Does that make sense to everyone?
So the 135 went away?
Well,
No.
it's just a new, now we call it a GPS.
It's just retitled, that's all.
Same thing.
I always thought it was GPS 135 and then 411.
I appreciate the distinction, so let's make sure that that's perfectly clear. We used to call it a 135 because there's one goal, there's 3 priorities, and there's 5 strategies. GPS. Okay, perfect.
Same. Yeah.
Okay, the alignment between the GPS and the 411. Okay, the GPS is the what? I like to call the GPS the one-page business plan. Okay, Gary is a big believer that if it can't fit on one page, it doesn't belong. Okay, actually, a story I'll tell you real quick is the most powerful way that the GPS was ever taught to me. Does everyone remember Jeff Woods? He used to host the One Thing podcast.
Yes.
Everybody remember him? So he did a webinar for MAPS coaches once on how to put together a GPS, and he told a personal story that when he first got to KWRI and he reported directly to Jay, that he brought his GPS into Jay, and it had the goal, it had the priorities, and it had the strategies, right? And I believe the story goes that Jay tore it in 1/3 to 2/3, where you could only see the first priority, and he said, now come back to me when you have completed the first priority. Okay, and then you have permission to go on to priority 2 and 3. So I like that because it is said that you should be able to achieve your goal just by achieving your first priority. We'll go into that a little bit more detail in a little bit. Okay, so the GPS is the what? It's the one-page business plan. The 411 is the when. Okay, the 411 is the when. Now, Jenny, can you explain what 411 actually stands for? Why the numbers 4, 1, and 1?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of backwards to me, but that's how my brain works. So really, if we work it kind of 1, 1, 4, let's just mix it up a little bit. So what that means is that you have one annual goal. For today's purposes, we're going to show some examples and give you guys some tips on how to simplify this. You'd have one annual goal. I mean, for example, on our team, you know, we like tracking how many families we're going to serve that year. Does anybody use that as their big annual goals? How many families are we going to serve?
I use that for my metric too.
So that's a number. So that's your annual goal, like GPS. And then we're going to have, so that is your 1 in the 411. And then we're going to have 1 month. And then so if we were going old school, and this is seriously like, I have old school because I am old school, but if you did a paper 411, that would mean I'd have 12 of these by the end of the year, right? Because there's January, February, March, all the way through. And so that's another of the ones. So I'm making this really confusing. And then at the bottom are your weeks, because there's how many weeks in a month? 4. So, right, so you've got 4 weeks in a month that feed up to your monthly goal, that feed up to your annual goal. Does that make sense? I said it backwards and
So
hopefully confused you.
4 weeks, 1 month, 1 year. And Jenny's right. It's said sort of backwards. It's just 114 just doesn't sound as appealing, right? So these two models must be married for your actions to match your ambitions. Okay, so the how-to. Okay, this is looking at your GPS priorities. Now, we're going to go, according to the slide, we're going to go slightly off script here too. Okay, so when you look at your GPS priorities, these are the three big rocks that move the needle toward your G, your goal. Okay, now, when I've coached agents, and I've coached many, many agents, sometimes I'm shown a GPS where the priorities maybe look a little confused. Like they're not really in line with what the actual goal is.
Well, let me ask you guys, when you have attempted to do a 411, has it been hard to figure out like what are my priorities? Right? This is why so many times we'll do one because our coach makes us, or we take a class, or you come to a session like this and you'll make it and then you'll just put it away because it's too confusing or doesn't make sense or doesn't fire you up. Mm-hmm. So we're going to help you with today.
So what are three priorities? If I'm a real estate agent, Jenny, and I have a goal and I want to serve 50 families this year, what are some examples of priorities that might help me get to that goal?
Well, has anybody taken BOLD? Yeah, okay, cool. We've got some learning-based people in this room, which is exciting. So I've now taken BOLD 18 times. And so back in the day, I remember, because I'm like you, and I would have a very messy, complicated 411 that, again, I'd do it for a month or two, and then I'd put it away because I didn't want to come back to it because it was a lot. And so I heard this BOLD coach say one time, and it just blew my mind, because it was so simple. So inside of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, our real estate Bible, there is a triangle. And what's on that triangle of the three L's?
Leads, listings, leverage.
So what if your priorities were leads, listings, and leverage?
I just felt a few minds get blown.
So in the black church, we'd say preach.
Okay, well, let's go. But that was just, well, that makes sense because I have to generate leads for my business to have a business. Once I generate those leads, I want to turn them into seller or buyer listings taken that then I will need over time leverage in my business, either people leverage or systems or tools. And I was like, well, there you go. So I think our work's done here today.
Yes, I think our work's all done here. But furthermore, right, your top priority on your GPS must be your number one in your monthly and weekly goals. Now, guys, we just said the priorities in order. Who remembers number one priority? Leads. Oh, gosh, we're going to talk about lead generation again, aren't we? Yes. Leads. Leads are your number one priority, right? Everybody in the room, if you've done a business plan or a business planning clinic before, you understand the economic model because the instructor typically takes you through that reverse engineering exercise. And it boils down to exactly how many leads you need in your business in accordance to your conversion rates to sustain your business for the year that you're planning, right? If it isn't on the 411, it isn't getting done, right? So your top priority must be the number one. It must be lead generation. The priorities, each one of them solves a specific problem in your business. So we talked about leads, listings, leverage. Leads solves the problem of achieving the goal. Okay? Now, yes or yes. If you generate enough leads, you will hit your goal. Yes or yes? Great. So priority 2, listings. Jenny, can you explain what we mean by listings?
Yeah, so on our team GPS, we use the economic model so we know how many listings, buyer listings, seller listings, and now everybody has to have a written buyer agreement, right? So that written agreement becomes a contract, a listing agreement, and so we know how many listings we must take each month to be on track to achieve our annual goal, and inside of that, of the strategies inside of listings, we'll list out things like marketing and conversations plans around taking a listing, or what the process is, our customer service at each touch point inside of the listing process. I think customer service is a big part inside of that, but also if you have a listing, a seller listing, what can you do with that listing to attract more listings or more leads? Open houses. What else could you do? Farming, door knocking. All of those could be strategies of what you're going to implement into your plan to help your listing sell, but then also generate more listings. Is that good? Is that what you wanted?
It is. That's exactly what I was looking for.
Okay, good.
So priority 1 solves for the goal. Priority 2 solves for sustainability. Okay. Finally, priority 3, leverage. I'm going to ask you another question on this in a second. But leverage solves another problem. Leverage solves scale. I've never met an agent, whether I've coached them or I've not coached them, that has the same goal year after year after year. Every single time I meet somebody, they have a goal that is bigger the following year than what they've achieved on the current year. Now, leverage, we often think of with people, but the good book tells us that it doesn't just mean people.
Yeah, I mean, who was in the room yesterday for Social Media Con, right? Wasn't that all about utilizing AI and automation for better efficiency and effectiveness? So maybe you are a solo agent and you have people in your business because you've got your vendor partners and your title reps, or your home warranty people, insurance. Those are your partners. They're not necessarily on your team, but they're a part of your team. So you want to make sure those people are in alignment with you and your business. But then also the systems and the tools that you use make your life easier, help you give better customer service. There's tasks that remind you to follow up with people. Those are all for what you're saying is scalability.
People, systems, tools. Everybody recognize that from MREA too?
So how I would do that on our GPS is inside of leverage. I would just ask the question annually is, who am I missing in my current business that I need to be searching for or adding? Maybe it's a new agent, maybe it's an admin, maybe it's just a new vendor partner. And then what systems or tools do I need to improve on or learn about or add? So all of these are just little things that you're triggering your mind for growth and scalability.
Love it.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Can you repeat number 1 and 2?
Yes. So, sorry, leads, listings, leverage.
What problem is solved?
Oh, sure. Solves the goal, solves for sustainability, solves for scalability. And y'all, we're going to do our best to get some Q&A time at the end. Okay. Oh my God, I just said y'all. I must be in the South. I'm from New York. We say use guys. We say use guys.
I'll say y'all.
Yeah. Oops, I went for too many. Okay, so we are here to talk about the 411, but we needed to spend that time on the GPS because, again, it is the food that feeds the 411. That 411 is a hungry monster. So here's the thing, is the rule of 3, right? And we're going to actually do a live role play toward the end of the class on actually creating a 411. I'm going to play the role as the coach. Jenny's going to play the role as the agent. And so you guys can actually see it in the live setting. If it feels like I'm rushing through this conceptually, that's why. Okay? So you're not supposed to list 10 things on your 411. Why? Because then that becomes a to-do list. Okay? The rule of 3, here's how I like to frame it. You have a primary objective. It is the one thing. Remember the question, the focusing question from the book is, what is the one thing such that by doing it will make everything else easier or unnecessary? When you can name that one thing, that is your primary objective. Okay? And then you have 2 supporting objectives. That if that primary objective gets done, you have 2 other action items or objectives or goals to complete before the end of the week. Some of my clients are redoing their objectives every day. They're not just revisiting their 411 weekly, they're doing it every day. It's a personal thing. Okay? This keeps you focused on your 20% and prevents that to-do list overwhelm. Okay, filling out your 411 with administrative chores is easy. So if you're like, oh my God, I gotta go grocery shopping, and you put it on your 411, guys, come on now. Okay, that's why we've got Instacart. If you don't have time to lead generate because you gotta go grocery shopping, get that Instacart on there. It's easy. Easy does not pay for the life that you want. Your 411 is a reflection of your GPS, and your results show it. Okay? So, quick reflection, right, for everyone in the room. Okay? Does your number one weekly goal match your number one priority on your GPS? Think about it, write it down. It's a good question to ask yourself. Does that first thing, the thing that's up at the top, actually reflect, actually get you closer to your goal for the month?
Sorry, can you repeat that last part?
Yeah.
Part you just said.
What did I say? No, I don't remember. Yeah, does your primary objective get you closer to your goal for the month? Right? It's an active.
I think he's using the word objective in like what you would have as your weekly tasks.
So your weekly tasks, so you have your 411, right? You have one goal, or you have a goal, you have goals at the top, that reflects your annual goal. Then you have your monthly goal, okay? That helps you get closer to your annual goal. And then you have your weekly tasks or objectives or goals, whatever you want to call them. You have to ask yourself, the question here is, does your number one weekly goal match your number one GPS priority? Does it get you closer to achieving that month's? Okay, so raise your hand if your 411 and GPS are currently living in two different places. Are they not married to each other? Is one not feeding the other? No shame, no judgment here, okay?
Just awareness.
Just awareness.
Yeah.
That's really what this is about. Good. That's what this class is about, to get them working with each other and not contradicting each other. All right. Number 2, protecting the 20%.
Yeah, has anyone heard of Pareto's principle? 80-20 principle? Well, imagine that it also shows up here. And so this is what we're going to talk about in this section, is just the 80-20 is always at play, no matter what. And so for you guys know that it's 80% of your results come from 20% of your activities. So we need those 20% activities to be the most important things that have to get done that week in order for you to achieve that task, that objective, to keep you in alignment with your monthly goals, to keep you on track for your annual goals. So for most agents, would we agree that our number one job description is? And a very close second and equally almost important is lead follow-up. Because y'all know that fortune is in the follow-up. We could spend all day long generating leads and opportunities, potential clients and new relationships. But if we forget to follow up with them, it's not their job to remember us. It's our job to remind them. So that's our job. So when we are thinking today about building your 411, the most important things that you need to do in your business as a real estate agent is what? There you go. That's it. All right, so your 411, though, is what's going to help you stay focused on this, because it shields and protects that 20% lead gen and follow-up, and it keeps all that 80% at bay. Now, I always say that I think the 411, the One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan is the best productivity tool. It is for me, at least. So if you haven't read it in a while, after today, put it a note to go back and read it, reread it, or listen to it, because this is when you can really get your mindset clear on how you can block out all that noise. I'm literally the girl that had the office door sign that says, "Go away, do not bother me." I'm doing my number one job.
Anyone have a copy of the One Thing book that actually had the door hanger in it? Is old enough? I have that one.
Yeah.
Still use it.
And so we're really just trying to hammer it home, and hopefully you're getting it, is that until you knock out these most important things, all the rest is just noise. All the rest are distractions. And if we know, though, that the morning hours are typically when we have the most energy, the most willpower, so just do your best to protect that morning time to have your conversations and deepen relationships. Make sense? Okay, what else do I got? Okay, so identifying your lead generation goal. So this is fun because as a real estate agent, go back, he wants to go back.
No, there's no copies of the slides. They don't distribute the breakout ones. So you guys want to take photos? Go ahead.
Yeah. You can also reach out to us and we will totally help you with whatever you need. So is this where I was? Oh, okay.
This is where you're.
Yeah. Okay, so as a real estate agent for all these years and having a team of real estate agents and teaching and sharing with other real estate agents, this is where I think we get bogged down, is what are the specific numeric activities that I need to be doing each day, each week, each month to get me to my annual goal. And so this is, though, when you do these activities, this is how you're compensated for the value you bring. So let's just talk about it real quick. I think I have notes here. Let me see what I wrote. What did I talk about on this one? So what are, I think we now know lead gen and lead follow-up are the most important things. But let's talk about those 80% things. You guys, I was convinced for years that I was the best maker of a house property flyer. I was convinced that nobody could input that new listing into MLS faster and better than me. Am I alone on this? Do you guys have these 80% activities that when you wake up in the morning, like, okay, well, I gotta upload those photos first thing this morning. I need to create a graphic on my Canva. Do you guys do that? Because we're fooling ourselves that we are working and being productive. Because could all of those things, they're important. If you're a solo agent, they're important. But could they be done at 11:01 a.m.? Could you respond to that email or that message at 11:30 or noon? It might not be important. Have you guys found inside of a real estate transaction that there are no actual emergencies? Or at least that couldn't wait a little bit later in the day? And then who has also found that when you delay that response, that the problem usually works itself out anyway? Raise it up. Raise it up. It did not need your immediate attention. And so if we're going to talk about 80% stuff getting in the way, I would just recommend, I have not had my ringer turned on my phone in 20 years. And I still sell 100 homes a year. Okay, so I turn off any notifications, dingers. You guys have your laptops up and you're working. How many things are popping up at you all day long and distracting you? Turn it off, protect your bunker, and go and do what you're supposed to do. Did I get, oh wait, something I didn't get to is the examples. We talked about this. Look at, he's got all this experience coaching agents, so he knows exactly what's happened, and I have the pain of living it, is that I needed to make it an activity and something I could control rather than the result, right? Like taking 5 listings this week, life happens, my skills might need to be worked on my conversations, but that one would make me feel like a failure if week after week I didn't get all of those. But what I can control are the conversations I have, the coffee dates I go on with VIPs or other people in my community to deepen those. I can control those things. So that's what I think sometimes we are measuring as a weekly activity, something that's a result. And so ask yourself, is this an activity that I can do no matter what, or is it a result?
100%.
Help clarify that.
Yeah, just to clarify that. So when we're doing our 411s, we have goal for the year, we have goals for the month, and then we have goals for the week, or I like to translate those into specific action steps or objectives, like I was calling them earlier. So what Jenny was just saying is putting your weekly objectives, your weekly goals into a category within your control. It's not only healthy, it is also sustainable. Okay, everyone remember the acronym SMART goal: specific, measurable, achievable, etc. Everybody remember that?
Yep.
Right. So my clients hear me preach this over and over and over again. I don't actually see any of them in the room because I told them, go somewhere else because you hear this every week, okay? There are only 3 things within our control, okay? So just imagine, we'll Phil M. Jones, just imagine there's a circle, and within that circle are only 3 things: my thoughts, my feelings, and my actions. It is only when we attempt to control things outside of that circle that we feel like we've lost control of everything within that circle. That is a Jordan Friedism, by the way. So I say that to add to Jenny's point, that when you are writing your weekly goals, make them things that are within your control. You will have 20 conversations. Can you control people responding to you? Everyone say no. What can you control? You can control reaching out to 50 people so that at least 20 respond.
And I like it to be measurable. So that was the M and SMART goal. It has to have, so when you get to the end of the week and you're reflecting back on your 411 and what you actually did, you can say, did I talk to that many people? Yes or no. It's a yes or no answer. It's not a wishy-washy answer, if that makes sense. So to me, I think it has to actually be measurable and a question you can ask yourself. And if I didn't, well, guess what? In my weekly reflection time, now I can go build out next week's calendar to fit in those gaps that I had the week before.
Love it.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's still me. This one gets me good. I'm going to tell you guys something, and I would love for you to write it down because I think it will really, really help you in your business. No is a complete sentence.
You said it. Somebody said it over there.
And you're laughing because you know you need to say it more. Because here's the thing, I know you because I'm you, and I know that I like to be seen as helpful. I like to make sure my clients receive a great experience. I want to make sure that everyone is followed up with promptly. And what happens is that if we haven't built our calendar around these weekly objectives and tasks and goals that are helping us to achieve our monthly goals, that are feeding our annual plan of success, then I'm going to say yes to things I should not be saying yes to. Here's a good example. I love to give back. I love to volunteer. I love my community. And was really easy when my daughter was younger for me to say yes to PTA stuff or volunteering at the school or even just volunteering for a local charity because it is an alignment. I loved my community. I love to give back. But then I found it started eating up too much of my time. So it's hard sometimes because, yes, those things are in alignment with who we are and how we see ourselves in the world. But if we aren't good at time blocking, we'll be eaten alive inside of that. Has anyone experienced that? They say yes to a volunteer or something that's not in alignment with their business goals, and then they get way out of whack. And then you get mad. I get mad and resentful. And that's not what we want. Okay, so the whole idea here is that the 411 should help filter you, right? Because I can look at my goals for the week and then I've blocked my calendar based on those goals. And so if there's not time for that extra thing or that client that's unreasonable, I'm going to be way better at filtering the things from the start with that. So learning no is so that you can say yes to the things that matter most.
Number one, thief of time, inability
That's
to
right.
say.
Well, one thing, when we talked about this in advance, is you called it the disease to...
Please.
We
Let's
had...
have that.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
infectious, isn't it? It's a contagion.
Yeah. And so, I I think that's good. I think we got that nailed down. Yeah.
By the way, I see a lot of people frantically taking notes. There is going to be some time at the end if you guys want to come up and talk to Jenny and myself. I have plenty of business cards to hand out. Okay, we are recording this. Everyone, give a round of applause to our man up front, Mason, right? Mason. He's recording this for us. He doesn't know it yet, but he's going to get a free coaching call from me.
Woo!
Okay.
There you go.
And so I'm going to be uploading it to a private YouTube link. Okay, so not for distribution, but if you guys come up, get my card, I will find a way to get it to you. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, it's the inability to say no is the number one thief of time.
That's right. All right, and so let's just kind of wrap up here and think about our focus. So that's obviously what this whole 411 tool is about. It's giving us clarity and focus. So the reminder here is that you are not a great multitasker because you've read the one thing and you know that multitasking is a myth, correct? But you're a great distractor. And so if you think about it, I love this here.
He's hitting the thorns in the side up front. You're just like right there, just a little jab every time.
And so all of this is about your focus. We're going to focus on what we can control, and we're going to focus on what matters most, and that's going to be what helps you build your 411. And when you focus on the 20%, which we already agreed for us is what? That's right. And so when we make sure that those are time blocked first, those are protected, then all the rest will take care of itself.
Love it. Okay, quick reflection. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're just going to reflect. This is where you're going to write down everything you've been thinking about. What is the 80% task that is currently stealing time from your 20%? So think about last week in that 9 a.m. to noon time slot on your calendar. What was getting in the way of you doing your most important activities? Can you remember? Bless you. I'd love just to, I know you're writing that down and thinking about it. I'd love to hear some things that are getting in the way.
Let's hear 3 things, and then we have time for ahas at the end. Yes, lovely lady in the middle, Mary Beth.
She turned around. Come on.
I think somebody said it on stage yesterday. Maybe it was Jason. The conversation's gone on way too long. Like, be an hour to a half hour, and think about how much more I can get accomplished.
That's right. Yes.
Yep.
I love that idea.
Chloe is one over there.
So meetings in your important time block, and could they even be shorter, or emails? Yeah, love that.
Go ahead.
Mine's similar to Mary Beth, but just feeling the need to respond to people.
Yeah.
Instant response. That's the disease to police showing up.
Yeah, that's right.
One over there.
Yeah, so mom, 4 and 6-year-old boys.
Yeah.
So I feel like by 11 o'clock is when my day is starting. By then, you nailed it. Those tasks are like that you fall asleep thinking about.
Mhm.
I gotta do this, gotta do this, gotta do this. And it's the control factor that's not making me give those off to our team at some of those because they've been on my brain, so they feel like they have to be done.
Yeah.
Love that.
That's
Okay,
right.
hold your.
Let's get one more.
We'll do one more, and then hold it till the end. Because
Okay, well, sorry about that.
plenty of time for Q&A at the end. Go ahead.
This was obviously critical to business with showings.
Yes.
Yeah. When you hit a certain point, is showings not something that you can leverage? Everyone say yes.
Yes.
It is. Okay, good. It's not one of the 5 main jobs of a real estate agent. It's a reason why when we say appointments, that means listing presentations and buyer consultations.
One thing you guys didn't say, which I think pops up all the time, is a closing, right? Like, yeah, that's important. And the buyers need it to be at 9 a.m., right? But if you start thinking ahead and you could have more control over the conversation with your client, maybe you could work it into later on in the day if you start talking about it early on.
Okay, I'm going to be talking about the accountability loop, okay? And who's taking the 6 personal perspectives here? Or at least has heard of it. Okay, awesome. This 6th personal perspective, you guys can all remember, is to be accountable, okay? How many people in the room are on a team or leader of teams? Awesome. And then the rest of you, I assume, are solo agents or leadership. Okay, awesome. This still applies, okay? Because the accountability rhythm, it's not just about you, it's about what you can give back to others as well, okay? Accountability is not gotcha, like, oh, you didn't do your work, go in the principal's office, shame, homework shame, right? It's, I got you, boss. I got your back, okay? The 411 is the foundation for your weekly accountability conversation framework because it moves you from trying to actually hitting your targets, okay? It is, I've said this a few times already, it is the tool that makes you the most productive version of yourself. It is also one of the greatest accountability tools. So the how-to, the weekly review, you have to set up a weekly appointment either with yourself or with a partner or with your team leader, your rainmaker, another member of your team, your coach, hint, okay? That is what the accountability cycle is all about. Now, the slide says 15 minutes. It doesn't have to be 15 minutes. It can be even less than 15 minutes when you are highly purposeful. The next slide, I am going to go over a framework to have this meeting, something that Jenny and I are both very familiar with, okay? This is a time for honesty, for full disclosure, for vulnerability. This is not a time for judgment. I'm going to say another Freedism as well right now, is nobody, especially yourself, has ever benefited from your judgment. So nobody, especially yourself, has ever benefited from your judgment. I hope I said that right. I hope I quoted it correctly. Because he said it to me enough times. Yes. Be honest, it's not a time for judgment, okay? Using the data to adjust your plan for the following week. That's what the 411 is all about. It is a weekly accountability rhythm. So the how-to step. I want everybody who is taking notes right now to write this down. Again, don't worry if you can't remember it all, okay? I will distribute private recording. If you are writing stuff down, I want you to write down the word grow. G-R-O-W in capitals. G stands for what, Jenny? Goal. R stands for what?
Reality. How'd you really do?
O stands for?
Opportunities or options or obstacles.
Exactly.
Whichever one is fitting for that.
And W stands for the way or the will forward. You guys can see 1, 2, 3, 4 up there. What were your goals? That's the G. Mm-hmm. 2, did you hit them? That's the reality. Okay, it's not time to make excuses. It's just time to live in the reality of the situation. The only thing real right now is present day. Okay? 3, if not, what got in the way? Obstacles. What opportunities are available? That's the O.
So the reason I said opportunities for the O is I did also used to coach with Jordan Freed, and that was if you are on track for your goal. What was my goal? Where am I? Oh, I'm on.
You hit them?
I hit them. It's not now the obstacles, but rather, well, what opportunities are out there that I can now explore because I am on track?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even hitting your goals is a learning experience. My clients hear this all the time. Oh, great, you exceeded your goals. You hit 7 appointments when you set 5. That's awesome. You know we're going to talk about success signals now, right? Okay, great. What did you do that led to that success? What was your mindset when you were doing the activities? There's always opportunity to pause and reflect and repeat those actions.
But you won't pause and reflect if you don't have a weekly time with yourself or an accountability partner to say, what were my goals and how did I actually do? It has to be a time block.
So Team Rainmakers, how many Rainmakers are in the room right now? Are you holding weekly 411 accountability sessions with all of your team members, including your executive staff? Not just your sales team, but your executive staff. I'm getting some nods and some shakes, okay? Really important. It is a framework so that these meetings are not just shooting the breeze. There's plenty of time for that. Okay, ownership. The market or your leads are not to blame. So I talked a little bit about the 6 personal perspectives. Number 6 is be accountable. Does anybody remember what the opposite of an accountable person is? There we go, a victim. Okay, victims, things happen to them. Accountable people, things happen because of them. You get to choose. Pardon?
6 personal perspectives?
Honestly, you can Google it.
Yeah.
It'll show up. Well, nowadays you can actually ask Gemini and GPT, your large language model of choice. Oh, it's a class, it's not a book. It is, it's, okay, thank you. Our regional director in the room says it's in KW Connect. We got a believer.
Yeah, just search 6 personal perspectives. There's lots of videos online and topics like that. Videos.
Actually, I think that if you look it up on YouTube, the infamous Gene Rivers, that's the one I watch over and over again.
Yeah.
Right, he's one of our most famous trainers and people in KW ever. So using your weekly 411 to be accountable to your goals, because when you don't own the activity, you don't own the outcome. I'm going to say that again, it's written up there. When you don't own the activity, you do not own the outcome. Okay, so there was a challenge that we had for this slide. Who's the one person that you trust to hold you accountable to your 411? Jenny, you want to challenge the room here?
What was I supposed to say?
If you can think of somebody that you want to be your partner, send them a text message right now.
Yes.
And say, would you like to be my 411 accountability buddy?
Yeah, everybody pull out your phone. Don't get distracted. Don't go to Facebook. And if you can think of somebody that cares about you and you trust, it could be someone in your office, your team leader, productivity coach, and shoot them a text today. I'm in the most amazing 411 class I've ever experienced with Jenny and Lucas. And will you help me stay accountable to my 411? Yes?
Love it.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, raise your hand if you are committing to a weekly 411 15-minute meeting after hearing this session.
Yeah.
I love it. I want to see more hands in the room, though. So if you didn't raise your hand, come see me at the end. Tell me how I can be more compelling to you next time. Okay, so before we get into ahas, turning ahas into action, we are going to do a little live role play. It's not going to be long because I'm all about brevity. Okay, so again, I'm going to play the role of the coach. Jenny is going to be my amazing agent, high-producing agent. We're going to keep it super simple, though.
So I want to mention, if you guys were in Social Media Con yesterday, what was obviously everything about? Social media. And so I woke up this morning and I thought, well, clearly we need to share with you guys in this amazing 411 class about how we could take what we learned yesterday and put it into action by making it a weekly goal that helps us to achieve our monthly goals on track for annuals.
Absolutely. It is an act of reverse engineering, just like the economic model is.
So we haven't practiced this.
Okay. So, Jenny, what's your goal this year for 2026?
So as a team, we have a goal of helping 100 families.
100 families,
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, what would achieving that 100 families, what would that mean to you?
Well, I mean, it means that we're able to keep paying all of our amazing admin and operations team, that our agents are achieving their goals and living their best life at the same time. It also allows me to be in alignment with what I love to do, which is to teach and train and share with others so that I can pay for my daughter's college.
Love that. I can't believe you're sending your daughter to college already. It's amazing. Guys, context matters. If your partner or your coach isn't asking that, just explain.
Yeah.
Context matters. Now, we are near the end of February. And,
Yes.
you know, I'll admit we haven't been as proactive with this 411 as we should have been. So let's set a goal for March, if that's all right with you.
Okay.
If we can fast forward to the end of March, like just visualize we're at the end of March, and we are just that much closer to hitting that 100 family goal.
Yes.
Okay. What will have you achieved by the end of March?
Well, I mean, as a team, we will have helped, and we would know what that number is of being on track for that. But I found that something that we set as a team goal was we realized that the majority of our business come from our Met database, past clients, and referrals. So we really wanted to get focused on having more conversations and deeper, better conversations with our Met database. That means we've met and know each other, but also enhancing our love on our rock stars, our VIPs. So that would probably be, that we're able to have the number of conversations we need to be having and deepening those relationships.
So I heard a couple things there. One, at the very beginning, you said, well, obviously we got to, close some units to get closer to that 100. Can we put a number on that before we move on to the second thing that I heard?
It would be how many families closed? I think it's 13.
Great. So we will have closed 13, and we'll look at your pipeline to make sure that your pipeline can support that right now. But moving on to the other thing, you mentioned that you and your team committed to having deeper conversations with your Met database. Can we be specific with that so that we can write that on our 411?
Well, yeah. So it was, I think I used ChatGPT to help us come up with a plan of how many Mets we needed to add to our database, and then the number of conversations that we needed to have. And I believe it was 535. Is that right, Brittany? Something like that.
535 additions of
additional people that we needed to add to our Met database, and then that they are getting quarterly calls.
So they're on like a DTT2 like schedule, right?
Yes, they should
so
be.
So they're all getting calls.
Yeah.
So you guys, I heard three things there, right? We heard we got to get to 13 closings. Now, obviously, Jenny's pipeline needs to support that. That's not part of this exercise, but that would be part of the accountability rhythm. I heard we need to get to, or we need to add 535 Mets to the database. Awesome. That is specific, right? And then I heard that all 535 need to be on the DTD2 schedule or some sort of accountability reminder within whatever CRM command or whatever CRM she is using of her choice. They're on a rhythm, okay? Some of my clients will even print out their DTD2 lists and carry them with them at all times and check them off as they go along, right? So now we have Jenny's monthly goals, right? There's 3 there. Do they all help Jenny get toward closer to the 100 families helped? I hear a lot of yeses. Okay, I would have taken a no as a challenge. So awesome. Now we're in the last week of February, but it's family reunion. So let's project ourselves out to the first week of March.
Okay.
What do we need to achieve in March? What actions do we need to take this first week to get us to those 3 goals for the month?
Well, we even talked about is each month having what the conversation will be of what we have going on as a team in our community that we want to share. And so knowing what the conversation is going to be and then having that time blocked and doing it as a team lead gen session together.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we have your primary objective set.
Yeah.
Permission to hold you accountable to doing it.
Yes, let's do it.
All right. Okay, so did everybody kind of gather the energy that I was getting from Jenny? It's not just about the goal. It's not just about what you're taking action on. Is what you're taking action on in alignment with your GPS? Does it help you get closer to the goal on the next rung of the ladder? Okay.
So even if yesterday you guys heard, well, I need to make videos. Well, then that becomes your goal of how do I want to do 1 new video a week? Well, how many weeks in the year are you going to work? Then you just do the math and how many. So I need 1 new video per week. And then that's your social media part that you can fold into that as well.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a couple slides left, which is just wrapping things up, and then we're going to get into Q&A and ahas.
Yeah, so we're just going to make sure that we use your 411 to drive your GCI, gross commission income. We like all the letters and numbers here, don't we? And so therefore we want these to sync up. And so protecting your time, your lead gen, and your follow-up, because we know that's the most important things that we do, and then having an accountability rhythm because you're taking ownership over your goals. And so therefore having a partner or having a one-on-one session with yourself.
Love it. Okay, your action plan. Circle the 20% of your GPS and move these items to your 411. Sorry, Jenny, continue.
You're good.
Okay. Tomorrow, schedule a 15-minute weekly review on your calendar. All right, look, this says Friday, guys. I don't care if it's Tuesday. I don't care if it's Sunday, okay? It's when you're going to do it most consistently. Just remember that. When does it matter to lead generate? When does it matter to have your 411 meeting? When does it matter to go to gym? What is the best time to do all that stuff? It's when you're going to do it consistently. Okay, don't ever let anyone tell you differently because it works out for them. It's when you're going to do it consistently.
Yep.
And share your weekly 411 with your one accountability partner. Okay, now we're going to get to the Q&A part, but first, if you enjoyed today, okay, would you like to know how to incorporate what you learned into your business? This one right here is about scheduling a free 30-minute session with a MAPS coach. Hey, it might even be me, but you scanning that and putting your information into the MAPS database will guarantee somebody reaches out to you and gets that on your schedule. So I'm going to leave that up for a minute. Everybody get it who wants to. And of course, you can always just come to me after class too. Okay? And lastly, guys, KWU uses this for future content. So please fill out a session eval. It means the world to us. Fill out a session eval. Again, my name's Lucas Hine. This is Jenny Wallach.
Yeah, give us feedback. It helps us get better and know what hit home for you, what you actually might implement, because that's what the point of this is, especially the 411 is a productivity tool. We want to see you have more production and a better life.
Amen. And I will leave that up for everybody. So I'm going to run mics. And before I do, hey guys, we have some fame in the back room. Everyone say, hey, James Shaw. So I'm walking late. I just had to point him out. All right, so raise your hand. I'll run the mics. If you guys have an aha you'd like to share or a question for myself or Jenny, here you go. Tim Grant.
Yeah, my name is Tim Grant from the Nashville, Tennessee area, and I just have an idea I'd like to share that's been helpful to me. And if you think of the framework, ready, aim, fire, I have a weakness of getting stuck in ready.
Yeah,
ready.
Yeah, that's right.
And one thing that's been helpful to me is take my 411 and gamify it. And what I do is a bingo card with activity items.
Nice.
In each of the spaces, like DTD, my DTD2 week 1, and then do 3 showings, make 100 phone calls. And each time I finish one of those, I put a gold star in the space.
That's fun.
And it's designed so that if I get a bingo, I'm also very likely getting a paycheck.
Nice. I love that. You guys like that idea?
that helps me get more to the fire, because I could learn something from agents who are more like fire, and they're ready aim.
That's right.
That's all I got. Thanks.
There you go. I love
Thank you for that bit of wisdom. That's awesome. All right, who else? Or question? We have right behind. Hey, Tom.
Hey. Tom from Boston. Great class. Thank you, guys. On the 411, obviously you have the goal for the year. That's the goal for the year. How often does the monthly or the weekly one change? Like if you're seeing things aren't going on track, to shift gears and then you can commit this up. We're looking at this weekly and monthly. We might have to sig inside.
I think that's a really important question, because do you guys believe that a goal can change? I do, because there was a year that we had the gut punch of high interest rates, and we realized, and Brittany's my number one agent in the back here, she'll attest to this, after our weekly one-on-one, she was like, I'm feeling like crap because I'm not achieving that goal. And so that's when we realized we need to reset and get real with it. Of course, you don't want to give up on the goal. If you aren't doing the work, then that's a reflection on you. But just being aware, but you're going to know how far off you are if each week you're checking in on it, if each month you're updating it, right? Does that make sense a little bit?
I love that.
If it is going good though, and it's going on track, you keeping it all the same like that all the time, or does it?
Yeah, sure.
Right.
Or add in new fun stuff that you want to.
Just imagine, like, okay, rocket ship takes off. right? Yeah, mission control, they're making sure that they're course correcting every like few minutes, right? A few seconds, right? Because they're trying to hit a moving target. Our goals are like trying to hit moving targets. But if we are on track, why change? And that goes also into the point we had just made about, hey, if you're winning, what are you learning from it? What's the opportunity that you can take forward from it too? That was really
Love it.
good.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce your name? Vondel. 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 Everyone say hi, Vondel.
What's up, everybody? So Vondel from Tennessee, mainly. I'm licensed in two states, so Tennessee and Maryland.
All right.
Started living in Maryland. There's a love story behind how I got to Maryland.
All righty.
But my biggest takeaway thus far has really been, so I just got to KW in 22, and I find that we have tons of systems and models that I love, but again, I get lost in the systems, and so I like, my aha was the simplicity of how to simplify the models and systems to where they're relatable. So what really stuck out for me were the three priorities, the triangle. I've never looked at it that way before, but the leads, listings, and leverages, those being my three priorities. And then I'm just like, I want to do this thing, I want to use this, but today's the first time I felt like it landed.
Yay.
And so I'm excited to go back and have more of our models and systems planned.
Yeah, I love that. Hey, also, there's a couple things and resources. My dear friend James Shaw in the back, he hosted a session. Is it still one of your top viewed sessions? The GPS and 411. Yeah, so if you just Google James Shaw or even Jenny Wallach, I also have tools and resources on the YouTube. You can find great tips and tools that we share on there as well. You can do on YouTube. You can look up James D. Shaw, or you can look up Your Journey with Jenny.
You probably have it pinned or something on your homepage. Okay. Well, I just projected that into existence, and now it's going to be pinned. Then your 411.
So I have a question. Most of us on this journey in leadership, right, in some form. And so while you're sitting in the room, you're building a sales business, but you may also be doing something else.
Yeah.
Have you found, and I know you've done that too, have you found you keep it on one? I mean, this is kind of for the audience. Do you keep it in one form, or do you have like, this is one mission, this is the other mission?
Oh, such a good.
Different than 411 though.
Yeah, so inside of my GPS, I know that like my number one priority is I need a successful team, because this team achieving those goals then allow me to do the passion pieces like the traveling and teaching part. But if they're not succeeding, then it's all out of whack. So my priority one is team, making sure all of that is on track. And then it would be people, like who do we need to be attracting, and then my traveling and teaching as well. So I think that then on the 411 it translates, because on the team, it's my job to have one-on-ones. It's my job to create content for our social media, for the community, and interviewing local business owners, things like that. So those are all 411 activities. Is have I done the number of videos I need to make, or the conversations I need to have, or the coffee dates I need to go on. So I think they do still get pulled onto the same 411. Yeah.
Right here.
Okay, when I first started doing a 411 all those years ago, like 16 years ago, maybe 15, I filled out the whole 4 weeks.
Yeah, that's right. We didn't talk about that, did we?
We didn't mention that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what she's saying is, when you start off January 1st with a 411, and I have it paper because I print it out, but also it's electronic. So you guys know how spreadsheets work, and at the bottom you have different tabs. So you would start the year with January, and you would set the top goals of the annual goals for the whole year, and then you would even set January's, because it's just a metric of the annual goals. You divide it by 12, so this is January. And then you would start with week 1. To be on track for these monthly goals, for this annual goal, I need to start with week 1. What are the numbers and the metrics and the objectives? Now, you don't move on to week 2 yet, because you don't know how you actually showed up in week 1. So then you go, okay, well, based on how I showed up, now I may need to update or amend or adjust week 2. Because if you didn't get in all the conversations or the appointments or the coffee dates, then you might need to double it up for the next week, because you want to stay on track, right? It's all math. And so then you just keep adding and adding. Now, what I do is then I have my weekly goals, and if I got in X number of conversations, it then filters up to the top. So I actually will have the goal of the monthly, and then I have a little box that I call actual that's right beside it. So I can see what I was supposed to have and what I actually did.
Love that gap in the gain. That was a really good question, and thank you for the reminder. We were supposed to cover that. We didn't. You guys, we don't set our goals for July today, do we? No, that wouldn't make sense because we don't know how we're going to do in February until we execute on February. So why are we putting week 4 out in advance from week 1? Right?
Yeah.
So, and I know how tempting it is because it's like, all right, I know I want to get this done, but it's not my top priority this week, right? You can make it live in some other space. But what I also recommend people do is practice the 4 Ds: the do, the delegate, delay, or delete. Okay, so if there's an action item that then becomes less important on that 411, did you do it? Great. Do you need to delay it? Do you need to delegate it, or does it even belong there in the first place? That's the delete part.
Yeah,
That's
just might be pushing to next week's calendar, right?
Yeah. Okay, who else? Yes, sir.
So first of all, great class. Me being in the industry for going on 12 years, I really didn't grasp that until probably year 10. Right? So I do that, and I coach a lot of people that's new in the industry. So this thing too, I have them use this 411 and the GPS on personal goals as well.
Right.
Because it really works. Right. If you can combine them or separate them, personal and work, then your business will succeed a lot faster.
Yeah, that's right. And I have a QR code if you guys want to come up and scan it, and you'll get on my email list, and I'll send you my template of this because just like you said, I've got my first column are my professional goals, and in the middle I've got my personal goals. So these are going to be things like travel and vacations because that's important to me, family and date nights, things like that, connecting with my friends. Yes, that's totally my health and my wellness. That's walking every day or exercising or hydration. And so if you guys want a template, come up and scan my QR code.
Beautiful. Who else? Man, we just did such a great job. Oh, we got one in the back. Oh, Ivan, great shirt, by the way. Yeah. And thank you for your service, too.
I just wanted to share real quick. I get the privilege of working with Jenny, and whenever I first started on the team 9 years ago, I did not want to go off the 411. It was super annoying. It was a lot of data. And to be honest, it was overwhelming. And she, of course, didn't give an option for that. So I did it. And the cool part is it compounds over time. So you start to be able to reflect and see what works and doesn't work. And it becomes the driver for your business. And then it gets exciting. You're like, okay, yes, I can do this. And you see the instant results, which is really cool. So I would challenge you, give it a try, get the accountability partner, and plug into James and Jenny's stuff because the training on it is really, really good.
And I'll brag on Brittany, and she has been with me for such a long time. In her early days of real estate, she would pretend lead generate.
She'd pretend.
She'd pretend. And see, you can't be a huge success. You just have to keep working through the 411 and the goals. But the other thing is I can tell Brittany has it time blocked on her Friday afternoons. It's a time block for her to review her 411, and that's when she pushes it over to me for the accountability to show me how she's updated it and what she's working on. And then whenever you have that with a partner or a team member, then I don't need to know all of the details. I can just see where she's on track or off track of certain things, and those can be our conversations.
Love that. All right, you guys, listen, please, if you want to stay after, come grab a business card from me. Please give me yours. I stay in touch with everybody that I come into contact with. But thank you so much.
Yeah.
This time has been awesome with you all. Thank you.